There we go. What's your cup say? I saw words in your cup.
The cup says, "I get by with a little help from my friends."
Aww.
Yeah, I believe this was a gift from Tennille Towns.
Nice. That's a cool cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she gave us a couple of them. They're pretty cool.
You're a coffee cup guy, right? Like me.
Oh God, I have like insane amounts, and I some of like this one is like a as you can see, it's a Stormtrooper, and I was using it. I was trying to cycle through my coffee cups, but I found this one was so cumbersome.
Yeah, they'd be hard to drink out of it.
It's like really. I have one that's like it's shaped like the Superman crest, but it's like flat on one side. So you're trying to drink it, and it's kind of like you're sort of like you have to like stick your mouth around the corner of it. It's just ridiculous. So it's like probably a better thing to hold paper clips in. So
I guess your pen holders and
So I got that one. Another coffee cup I have here is my Darth Vader cup.
Yeah.
Another this one wasn't too bad because it's kind of got like a round, but I don't know. It's too cool to stick in the cupboard.
Yeah.
So it's a pencil holder.
Now it holds pencils. I know. But I always feel like every time I've been at your house, like there's always fun cups to drink out of. That's why I know it's spirits.
It's part of my, having cool cups is sort of like I have my favorite actually is a Spock, and it looks a lot like Spock.
Yes.
And so sometimes when I'm talking to people, like I'll without trying to bring attention to it, I'll have Spock like stare at people while they're talking, like he's a little puppet, and it makes it a little weird. So,
do you ever try to like throw your voice to make Spock talk? Like
no, I have not. But I don't believe I have that skill. So I don't think that's part of my
practicing some ventriloquism.
Yeah. It's not my skill set. So who knows though?
Yeah. Just now that we've planted the seed.
Could happen.
It's possible. Yeah. Cheryl, good morning. Angie, good morning. Everybody's hanging out. We've paused long enough. So are you question off the top before we get started? Like, are you a coffee drinking person? Are you a tea guy? Do you?
Oh no. I mean, I'll have tea if it's like the only thing to drink. My mom, who's half Métis and half Chinese, she's like all tea all the time. I'm a coffee guy. I kind of feel like tea is just, coffee that quit halfway. So I'm sorry, tea drinkers out there. It's like, I'm sure there's actually tea drinkers seem to be very sort of, they're very avid,
They're passionate. Yeah.
They're very passionate. Yeah. But so I'm big time. And I'm a Starbucks guy, it's, not necessarily Starbucks, but I just love local. If it's local dark roast, I'm in.
You're all over it.
Wake me up, so. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like when you travel and hearing some of your travel stories with you and your wife is like you seek out these cool coffee shops wherever you go.
100%. Yeah. I mean, the first thing I do when I go to a new city is find where am I having coffee and is there a comic book store here?
Right.
And
coffee and comic books. That's your jam.
How can I incorporate them into my day somehow? Because it's really all I want to do. So yeah, it's little obsession there, little obsessive behavior, but I can't help it.
Well, I feel like your wife is similar because if anybody follows your social media, if you follow Scarlett Butler, which we're going to talk more about in a moment, but there's a lot of posts where she's texting you from bed being like, bring me coffee and go get me coffee. Like you guys have a lot of posts about where you are getting each other coffee all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of like it's a thing, like when she comes home, like she goes to to go work out lunch or something like that, and then she'll come home, she'll bring Starbucks, or like often in the morning on the weekends, it's like I'm down here. A lot of times I'll get up at like 6 and I'll come down here and start working for a couple hours, and then she'll text me, and then she'll say, she'll send me a coffee meme or a GIF, She'll send me a coffee GIF, like,
Yeah.
So I know it's time to shut her down
And get
and
coffee. Well, and it's
mhm.
just, to me, I bring it up because it's like real. It's not made up content that you
No,
post as a
no,
thing for your band. Like
no.
that's legitimately your life.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's like we're because we're so hyper focused on music and all, a lot of our most of our content is just what we're doing, so it's yeah, it's not always interesting, I don't think, but it's like, I
But
mean,
it's
you
real.
gotta take
It's
the
real.
good with the bad, man. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, we're sorry and not sorry all at
yeah,
the
it's like,
same time for whatever is being
we're a
posted.
little unapologetic about, our
Yeah.
our social. So
Well, that's fine. Welcome back to Virtual Coffee Club. I know that we always have a mix of new people who are joining us and some of our old favorites. And I don't say old in an age wise, just that you've been here through the whole process, and we love that. So I know that there's some people that have met you before, but there will be some who you are a brand new face to. So we welcome Troy Kokol for our Music Monday today. And Troy is, gosh, what would I call you? A man of like extremely many talents. So he's a songwriter, a singer, a producer, an engineer, a yogi, a great friend.
yogi's a bit of a stretch. I
Yeah.
when I first started doing yoga, I told my wife that I invented a new pose called downright disgusting dog, because I didn't wear really good yoga pants, and I was kind of, I
Well,
was,
naked yoga became a thing there for a while, so
yeah, well, I don't know, it's like, I don't have, I got sort of a dad bod, so I don't know that that's gonna do anything for anybody except, it's,
Oh,
yeah.
I was just thinking maybe you had a bowl full of coffee and you downward dog and slurp the coffee out
No,
while
no,
you
it's just,
did it. That would
it's just, I have no, I'm not, I'm actually, I do yoga every morning. I did yoga this
yeah,
morning at about six
yeah,
fifteen, and but I'm not flexible, and so it never looks good. I'm certain that anybody that actually is like good at yoga would be like, dude, like,
yeah.
so
I don't
not cool.
That's
Yeah.
the thing though about yoga community is nobody judges like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's possible.
You're doing it in your basement.
The
Yeah.
people that I know that do yoga, it's like, oh, they're kind of, they're a little bit yoga snobby.
Oh,
it's like they are, but I roll with, a very
the
particular.
non-judgmental yoga crowd is where
Yeah,
I am.
I need to,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, many talents, and
Mhm.
you're also one half of a duo, which we've had you both on at the same time before, called Scarlett Butler, which people need
Yes.
to go look up and follow and all that fun stuff. And you've like won awards, like you're kind of a big deal. The most humble big deal I know.
Aw.
Yeah.
Go on. Well,
I
it's
will.
my wife and I, we've, when we started out in the music business, it was kind of like a surprise. All of a sudden it's like we're at work at the city of Calgary, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're gonna cut your song. We met this new artist, and
Yeah.
his name was Shane Yellowbird, and his
Mhm.
manager's like, we're gonna record your song. I'm like, oh, cool. And we were just writing sort of, we wanted to be writers, but we were working and like normal people, and then it was like, I don't know, a year later, or things kind of happened, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, your song was number 37 on the charts, and we're like, oh, okay, that's
Cool.
cool, so it's like, I got to go back to work. I'm going to get a muffin before I go to the, back to the, the planning desk. So it was like, I think for us, having success has always been kind of like, it's not anticlimactic, but we've always tried to have fun with it. But it's always been sort of, we've never really been able to appreciate many of the things that have happened in our lives, because because we didn't sort of like move to Nashville and slug it out and sleep in our car and suffer, and and cut our teeth, and we just never took that path. So our path is completely backwards, and but as a result, we've never never had to pay our dues or anything like that. So I feel
Or you
grateful.
never had to sleep in your car. So
Yeah,
that's
and
good.
honestly, I grew up poor. I'm like, I am not into it, man. It's like I don't like anything that much, you know. It's like so the way our brand of success for me has worked just fine, because it's like I have a roof over my head, I got food in my fridge, and life is good, you know. So
Well,
yeah.
and I think we've had lots of conversations about that before. Not only just you and
Mm,
I, but lots of artists that I've in my past career where I've interviewed a lot of people is just what's your definition of success? Like what does success look like to you?
mm-hmm,
And then achieving that instead of trying to what I find in the industry, which you may agree with, is that people define their success by somebody else's success. And so
mm-hmm,
that they're chasing somebody else's success because they think that's what theirs should be too.
mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of unfulfilled people.
Oh, 100%. I think that's just a human nature thing. You know, you see
Yeah.
people with, you know,
Comparison. Yeah.
yeah, you know, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's whatever, right? I mean, like it's kind of, I think it's a very common thing. But I you know, in the I think the weird thing about music is that you've got like, so it's like work, it's like anybody else's work, and we all get jealous if someone gets a promotion or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think the one thing about the music business or any artistic endeavor is that you have that, you know, your day-to-day sort of like what you're making money wise, and your success in that. But then there's also your egos very much attached to it, because it's like
Mhm.
it is your ego, and who you are is kind of like it's part of the whole package. Like, you
Yeah.
know, when you're a music person, you know, your persona is part of the what you're selling to people. And it's, you know, if things are going good, you're on top of the world, and if they're not, it's, which most of the time it's not. Most of the time when you're doing any kind of artistic endeavor, most of the time, you know, you fail 3 times and succeed once. That's kind of the way I've, you know, my perception of it. And so you have to, you know, learn very quickly to I learned very quickly to like, okay, like let's not make this thing that we're doing, this joyful thing, like the epicenter of all our happiness. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
so, you
You have
know,
to detach from it in a way.
oh gosh, yeah,
Like so it doesn't
100%.
define you, but it's a
Yeah.
something you do. Yeah.
Yeah. It if it doesn't, if it's not joyful, if we're not having fun, if, you know, if we're not if what we're doing is not sort of you know, if it's not fulfilling us, then it's like it's draining us, right? So
Yeah.
we're definitely trying to, you know, make that you know, make that the center of our focus, you know, when we're with the music, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think that over the years, you've always done collaborative music work with your wife, but it was
Mhm.
only in the past, what has it been a year that Scarlett
Yeah, just a
Butler's
year and
official?
change. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is that process in that now you're like you're doing that collaborative work for the two of you instead of how you'd collaborate for other people? This is your thing that you two get to do together.
Mm.
That's kind
Y-
of like it's kind of cool because it's different.
Yes, you know, I think with the two of the nice thing about, you know, working with my wife on a musical project is that when we go do stuff, we're doing it together. And, you know, whether it's, you know, if things fail, or, you know, like we've done shows where it's like, you know, the promoter didn't promote it right, and there's, you know, hardly anyone there,
There.
and we're like, but it's like, oh well, you know, we got paid, we get to play some songs, and you know, let's go get some ice cream after, you know, or whatever. So
It's like
it's,
a paid date. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a lot less you know, it's a lot less pressure. And I think the other side of it is that you know, when you're going through a musical or any kind of artistic endeavor, like, you know, it's, if Joni's having something really amazing happening, you know, it's really cool to be able to be a part of that, and to, you know, help her get to that place, as opposed to, you know, just being able to, you know, applaud her and support her is cool. But I think it's even more of a reward to be able to do those things together, and to celebrate one another's victories, and, you know, and
Yeah.
sublimate our defeats with
Yeah.
you know,
Has
keto
it
ice cream.
changed anything?
Uh,
Having the duo together? Like, have you found a shift in whether it's music stuff or even your marriage? Maybe that's too personal of a question, but like, have you found there's been a shift at all?
Well, we've definitely had to learn. So, you know, I think creative people are very, you know, they're very opinionated and can be very fragile, you know. So it's like we are no different. And so I think we've had to learn to compromise, and we've had to learn to be, you know, a little, I know for myself anyways, I've had to learn to be a little more diplomatic. But also as a boy, I've learned to like be better at communicating and letting Joni know. It's like, okay, you know, we're going to do this, and what do you think of that? And you know, so it's been really good for us to be able to collaborate together on this, because it's actually, you know, helped us just in general be a little more gentle with one
Yeah.
another, you know. And but then also,
I think as humans, we are sometimes the hardest on the person that we love and trust the
oh
most,
God,
right? Because
of
we
course we
don't
are.
be like, oh,
Yeah.
we don't have to think about how we're saying. We just say it. We
Mhm.
just blurt it out. And so being able to be like, okay, how do I hold that in a more respective way?
Yeah.
That takes work. I'm
It
proud
does
of
take
you
work.
guys.
And I think, you know, it's because we're collaborating, and you know, I think in any sort of work environment, you know, it's like you're saying, okay, well, you know, you have to change your roles. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, Joni's leading things, and I have to just, you know, respect that, you know,
Yeah.
and just let her do that. And so, you know, and you know, it's a boy. I think it's, well, I don't know, I won't pick on boys, but I feel like sometimes it's a man thing to like try to fix stuff and try to like, you know, organize and take things over. And so I've had to be careful with that, you know, because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, when you're married, it's like, if you know, if I'm sort of mansplaining to my wife, she'll let me know real quick. So it's like, whoa,
Yes,
yeah,
what?
it's like, you know, you forget your, you know, you got to be respectful. And so it's good. It's a good growing experience. So
I bet. I
yeah,
bet. Well,
yeah.
and congratulations also. You're shortly, like, was only what, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks. I lose all concept of time, but it was a relatively recent Country Music Alberta win for
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, yeah. We won Songwriter of the Year at the Alberta Country Music Awards, and it's just such a great, you know, the project we did was collaborating with one of the biggest radio stations in Canada to help them create a piece of work to, you know, it was really about you know, making people happy during the lockdown phase. And so we wrote
Yeah.
this kind of goofy song, and we ended up getting Aaron Goodwin and Amber Marshall from Heartland,
Yeah.
who's I know is a good friend of yours,
Yeah.
and Michelle Wright and Dwayne Steele. And we got them, we performed it, and I produced it. And but I mean, you know, it was one of those projects where you know, we write songs and we produce music for people, but that project in particular, it was so awesome to you know, collaborate with all of our friends, but also too, we raised like $10,000 for the Unison Benevolent Fund, which is a fund that helps musicians and people in the music business when they're on going on hard times. And during the lockdown, of course, as you
There
know,
was all
Jody,
kinds of hard
there
times.
was
Yeah.
all sorts of hard times for people in the music business. So it was just really cool to, you know, to do that, to do that project, but then also to have us be rewarded and to be able to celebrate it with all the people that because you know, half of the artists like Amber and Aaron came to the show, and
Yeah.
we sang on the show and with them, and then yeah, so it was just really, really great.
Well, and just a different kind of project. Like,
Yeah.
I think because it had meaning behind it and a different form of collaboration and fundraising and like lots of different moving parts, that
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, that worked. Thank
Yeah,
goodness.
it totally. And you know, it was the brainchild of the radio station CFCW, and so they, you know, what our function in all of it was really sort of bringing the music together, writing the tune, and then, you know, doing all the recording, and we acted as the label. So there was a lot on our end that we had to you know, take care of on that side. But you know, it was just a really fun way to help people through, because I mean it was as we all know, the pandemic sucked, and so being able to have some fun with it and just try to raise some money.
Create
So
something.
it was just a really easy no-brainer thing to do. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and outside of the work that you do with your own duo, and even you'd put out a solo album in the last couple of years also, which has, I think, got a lot of really great support, especially through, I've seen a lot in like just in the support from Indigenous radio and all of that kind of pieces has been really good for you. You've had a lot of things going on, but then when you come in as the producer and engineers, you're like an integral team member to a lot of other people's success stories. And that seems to have been going really cool too. And just, you have a unique role for people.
Yeah, I love the production side of it. Anybody that knows me really well knows that I enjoy creating music. I'm not a really huge fan of because when you do shows and you're out there and you're sort of, you put yourself out there, you got to dress a certain way, and you got to make your hair a certain way, and if you show up and things go wrong at the show, and it's just for me, it's just I if all I did was write songs and sing once in a while and produce music, it's probably the most enjoyable side of it. And so we've had, in the last year, we had a #1 record in Australia with an artist. Her name's Haley Jensen. She's on a label in Australia, and so we're really excited about that because we've never had a #1 anything. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was really, really great. We wrote, myself and Joni, we wrote about half the songs on the record, and we found other songs, and some other people like Dan Davidson, Clayton Bellamy also worked on the project with us, and so it was just a lot of fun. But for, she was nominated. She's up for Female Artist of the Year coming in here in a month or so. And so it really has turned her career around in a really great way. And so we're just so proud of it and really looking forward to seeing, what the future holds with her. And so that was great. And so, we've had those kinds of things happen in the last year. It's been a crazy year for us work-wise, but we're just trying to just keep our heads down and just keep working. And
once that Australia wasn't like an easier, quicker flight, so you could go.
It's like
opposite.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that we did this record. So the weird, well, I wouldn't say it was weird, but it was such a challenge because the only time we could really work on the record, so I would say, okay, I'll meet you. We'll have a Google Meet. And we'd be writing songs and talking about production stuff and reference tracks and all this kind of music stuff. But I would have to book a Google Meet with her. My 5 p.m. was her 9 a.m. Like that was the only window that we could get where it was like we could hang out for 4 hours and it was normal. Otherwise, it was just, it was crazy because, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for me was, you'd say 10 to 2 on her, but, anything else was just, impractical. So it was a real challenge. And they're on the opposite side of the planet. It couldn't really be any further.
No, it's like where could we create success? Let's have the furthest point from us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not like you could just if it was somewhere in Canada or North America where you just hey, we're gonna just fly down and check out the award show and support her, whatever. It's like, no, that's like a 13-hour flight.
Oh God. Yeah. It's long. I think it's longer than that. I think it's I think I think you have to fly to Thailand or something first. It's insane. But I think the what I loved about the process and working with her so far away was that I learned a ton about the culture. I learned a ton about how the best way, and we had to work online and virtually. So I consider myself a bit of I fancy myself a bit of an expert when it comes to working remotely. We did the entire record. She recorded vocals there. I sent her stems, and so we were able to make the whole thing work. It was amazing. And our mixing engineer was in the US, so it was man, it was like 3 continents, and it was just, but I'm really proud of it. It was just such a really, really fun time. And she made vinyl. So it's the first time I've ever had anything on vinyl. And so I got this vinyl record, and it was just,
Exciting.
it was just the best ever. So
Yeah. You're like,
Mhm.
win, check, vinyl record, done.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's like, what's next?
I know.
So this year, things are shifting and
Mhm.
opening and switching around. Are you feeling optimistic? Are you excited about what's ahead? Or does it still, because you do so many moving parts, it's still kind of the same for you?
Well, and that was the thing when someone's like, "Oh, what are you going to do during the pandemic?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm in the basement like all the
All the
time. Like I'm
time.
never like yeah, like literally the world could crumble around me and I'd be like, "Oh, okay. That I guess that happened." So, um because I'm on my own all the time and
Yeah.
always in my basement, not a lot changed. The only thing that changed for me during the pandemic is I got crazy busy.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, well, we can't tour, so let's make a record. So, it was a really, for us, there was almost no effect. But, I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to, now that things have opened up, is just being able to go out and support other people and go to shows, go to award stuff, or, go to a restaurant
Yeah.
without
Go
having
out
to
of the
wear something
basement.
on my
Yeah.
face and
Yeah.
like just talk
Yeah.
to people and shake hands and hug people. It's like, man, I tell you, I've been hugging more people. It's like it's getting uncomfortable for everybody. But I'm just like, yeah, I had a couple of like, a few seconds too long hugs with people. It's like,
I
yeah,
feel like you were like that before the pandemic.
could
So
be,
just saying,
I could be just using
it's
it,
my favorite thing about you. Yeah.
leveraging a worldwide tragedy as an excuse to, grope people. But
Yeah.
it was,
That's my mission.
yeah, totally,
I'm
yeah,
on board. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to that, and just being able to go to a lot more live music. So
Yeah. And you
yeah.
guys have a show coming up on Tuesday night.
Yeah, actually, tomorrow we have a show
That
at the
is tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a show at the Pioneer. It's called the series is called Bread Maker,
Okay.
and it's myself, Joni, and Jake Matthews, who's an award-winning top 10 artist, amazing songwriter too, good friend of ours, and Taylor, who I've never met, but really cool pop artist, and it's in an intimate venue, and they'll film. We're actually going to be filming videos. So
Yeah.
I've got a new song that's I got queued up, and no one's really heard it before, and so it's on my next record, and so I'm going to use that show as a way to do this video, and so it's really going to be really great. And yeah, so if you go to our Scarlett Butler page, you could find a link, or you could also go to Bread Maker Calgary, Google Bread Maker Calgary, and yeah, come out and see us.
Yeah. I love that. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you think that you would want to like give us a sneak peek of that new song right now?
Okay, sure, why not?
Is that, are we allowed to do that? Can I ask that? Or do you want to sing something different and save it?
I'll do you're the boss. I'll do whatever you want.
No. I'm like, well, I'm all like, you know me, I like sneak peeks and first times of all things, but
This
it's
is
up
an
to you.
exclusive. You're
Okay.
the only one in the world I do this for. This it's called Gateway Drug, and my next record is going to be a little different than anything I've done before, but this is kind of like probably one of the first songs I'll put out.
Okay.
I'm messed up so I can't see straight. Since you walked out and changed your name, I've been slamming drinks, I've been popping pills, just trying to forget, but I don't think I will. 'Cause your love is a gateway drug. Can't stop, I can't get enough. No sleep, cold sweats, it's rough. Your love is a gateway drug. Woo-hoo. My friends all say I don't look well. but I'm in denial. I like hell. I've been ditching my job, waking up at noon to hit the milk. I'm hard to stop thinking about you. 'Cause your love is a gateway drug. Can't stop, but can't get enough. No sleep, cold sweats, it's rough. Your love is a gateway drug. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. That's
Well,
the
I like
abridged
this
version.
vibe.
That's the abridged version.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah.
It's a good vibe. I like it. Okay, I'm excited for this album.
You know, it was kind of one of those things where you know, when I'm writing songs, sometimes I'll just sort of spit stuff out, and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, and I may or may not like it, and so, but
Yeah.
you know, when we're songwriting, we just come up with ideas, and then you have to revisit. I find I have to revisit. It's like, oh, well, this is actually not too shabby, and usually it's like it's kind of the, you know, it's like one out of 5 ideas are okay. The rest is sort of like, you know, in it being formed into something else. So yeah.
Hey, they all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's good. Well, I appreciate you sharing. And I feel like, I think I say this every time, that I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And then I'm always spurred that I want to start a podcast series with you so we can just talk more and more. So I'm feeling that again today, but well, maybe this will be the year it happens. I've mentioned to you for at least 5 years now. So yeah, eventually we'll get there.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah. Well, it's already awesome. Thanks to you. So boop, boop. Have an awesome one, and good luck at your show tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. You can check it out. The Bread Maker, Calgary. Hope to see you there.
All right. Bye, everybody.